Hey, welcome to episode 10 of DIY Mixers Crew. Today we got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to be talking about a nice ooey gooey cake that was a recipe from Daddy Kane. Unfortunately, he's not able to be with us today, but we're going to mix it up at the end of the show. We're going to see how that vapes. Also, we're going to touch a little bit on fall recipes. Me and Folk Art just released a couple of pies. I know Lewis had released a recipe. It's not a fall recipe. He's got one coming out soon for you guys, but he just released a recipe also. Tim got one out there too. I can't remember what it was. I think it had a picture of a monkey on it.
No, it doesn't either.
No? Okay.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just
you always want to bring up the monkey.
Your recipes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, real quick, guys, we also got our 100 subs giveaway that we're going to be doing at the end of the show for you guys. So hopefully you guys stay for that. Real quick, though, make sure you guys check out Liquid Barn at www.liquidbarn.com. Use code MIXERSCrew. Get yourself 15% off your order. You get free shipping over $50. Head over to Bull City Vapes and use code DMC6 and get 6% off your total order. They got lightning fast shipping. So I guess if we want to get into some stuff today. Oh, real quick, Essential Depot. I don't know, Folk Art, if you could throw that up on a screen.
Sure.
They got a big sale going on this weekend from the hurricanes and stuff going down south. I know I had ordered a Glide Cube, I think they call it. You can mix and match. I think it's propylene glycol VG. I actually got 3 gallons of vegetable glycerin and I got a gallon of propylene glycol from them. I think it was like $35. Shipping was like $20 to Pennsylvania. So it was like $50 for 4 gallons of stuff, man. That's pretty awesome. I got that stuff coming up to me. But real quick, I know some of you guys out there, you don't know the difference between a palm-based and I think it's a soy-based vegetable glycerin. When you're vaping, you want to use the palm-based vegetable glycerin versus the soy-based vegetable glycerin. I think that a lot of people that make soaps and stuff like that, they use the soy-based, but the palm-based is the best for vaping, in my opinion. So if you want to go check that out, I don't know if you can somebody could put that up. Somebody put it in the chat already, so that's cool. So we're going to get into a little bit of fall recipes. I know me and Folk Art, we decided to do pumpkin pies. Well, he actually did a sweet potato pie, and I did a pumpkin pie. We have those posted on alltheflavors.com. We have them posted on a Facebook group. Go check those out. What are you guys working on? I know, Lewis, you were working on a recipe, and Tam, whoever wants to go. Talk about that a little bit.
I can. Hi guys, welcome to the show. For the fall season, I'm mixing. I hope that I will release it next week. I'm mixing a fig and nut recipe. Now figs, because here in Portugal we are in the fig season, so I thought that would be okay. That recipe that Steve is showing, well, I just released it on Friday, but it's not on the season theme. But I hope you mix it because it's really, really good.
You want to talk about it? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Pam?
Oh, you don't want to talk about your recipe anymore? Like the one you just released?
The crumble.
The crumble. Okay, I can talk about it a little bit. It was a project that... Sorry?
I said it's kind of a fall recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. I always loved blueberry vapes. And I wanted for some time to make something with blueberries. I thought a blueberry custard, I thought a blueberry biscuit, I thought, well, and after all, I came out with a blueberry crumble. It has, of course, 2 layers. The fruit layer, I went with 4% blueberry flavor west, 1% flavor art bilberry, and a little tiny thing that I think that gives a special shine to the fruit layer. That is black currant, flavor art black currant, only 0.5%, but gives a twist to the fruit layer, and I think it makes it very, very, very good. To the crumble, I went with a mixture of TPI pie crust and cookie, flavor art cookie, and the biscuit. And of course, some Bavaria cream to increase the creaminess and sweetness. Some cinnamon Danish roll to give it a touch of cinnamon. The nut mix is there too, because it's funny. When I started it, I didn't thought of putting some nuts in the recipe. But almost in the end, when I was looking for some pictures to go with the recipe, I found lots of pictures that in the crumble, there was some nuts or some walnuts or some hazelnuts. So I did some testing with almond, with hazelnut, with nut mix, and I stick with nut mix because it's very nice. It gives a sweetness and that special taste of the nut. I think it goes very nice in the recipe. And it for as a final touch, the wow to give the special sweetness to the well, wow isn't the sweetener, as you might know. Wow isn't the sweetener, but it has a special. I can't describe it. It's hard to put it in words. You have to taste it. But it gives a special taste to blends very well. I think it's much better than I would put if I would put simply super sweet. It wouldn't be as good as well.
Good.
So
okay.
I hope you mix it and enjoy it and give us your thoughts about it.
Absolutely. I'm excited to get the nut mix. I don't have that flavor, and I'm ordering that tomorrow with a couple of other things I need to get.
You mean nut mix?
I always found
nut mix, right? Nut mix.
Flavor art. Yeah,
yes.
I always have problems with flavor art nut mix. Like I don't know if I got a bad batch, but it's paint thinner to me, and I'm excited to make the recipe also, Louis, because I'm serious, man. I couldn't get that shit to work for me, like super low percentages. I can always like pick it out, like a chemical flavor in there, and I'm excited to mix up your recipe to see how you use that in a layering in the recipe to see if it works.
You know, in this recipe, I only go with 0.5%, but in the fig mix, I go with 1%.
Wow.
And
okay.
It's very nice. It blends very well with the fig.
Okay, cool. Okay,
interesting.
Pam.
Okay, well, my fall recipe was a pain in my rear, and I started that. Actually, I started working on this flavor concentrate back in July. If you look at the information on it, and I was looking at it like, when did I start working with this flavor? It was July 17th or something like that, some weird date. And I'm like, it took me this long to really nail down not a profile, but a recipe for it, for real. But it was the Real Flavors bread pudding, super concentrate. And I love bread pudding. And had never really had it until a few years ago. I went to Walt Disney World, and every buffet we went to had that for dessert. All different flavors and types of bread pudding, and I just fell in love with bread pudding. And so I'm like, I'm gonna make a bread pudding. And so my first thought was it's got to be like a raisin bread pudding, and the only thing I could come up with was my rum raisin is what I put in it. And from Flavora, raisin rum from Flavora. And so I worked with it. I mean, it took me this long to really nail it down. But what I had problems with was with the base, getting that pudding layer just right. And so what I eventually ended up with the whole Flavora line pretty much. Is what's in it, except for the Real Flavor bread pudding, and I put a little bit of super sweet at the end. But the vanilla custard, vanilla pudding, and then a little bit of cupcake batter, because that's not really cakey. It's more has a maple flavor to it. So those three added together with that bread pudding just really like adds to that texture and for that bread to really like be there. And then what was really interesting was when I was using the raisin rum is I would get that raisin flavor, but it was almost too rummy. Is that a word, rummy?
Sure,
besides a card game. Yeah, we're not playing a card game, but it was too rummy. I wanted it more raisin. So I thought, let me play with this sweet fig, not regular fig, but sweet fig. So I added a little bit of sweet fig to it. And so I added a little bit of sweet fig to the raisin rum, and it really turned that into more of a raisin flavor.
Awesome.
So I was really excited about that. So basically that's how I ended up evolving into that recipe. And I was really, it really is good. I mean, I just shook another bottle of it this morning, and I'm sorry,
I'm watching you on YouTube. It's funny.
Yeah, my family's watching me on YouTube, and they're coming in the door going, "Oh, I see you," and they're distracting me. I'm sorry, very rude.
I remember,
and they think it's funny.
We were talking on a Discord, and I think you remember said you were having a problem with the pudding base.
At the beginning, yes, I needed a pudding base, and then that's when
did you try the FA meringue vanilla whip?
No, because I got in that same day the Flavora pudding, and I had the vanilla custard. And the vanilla custard, when I was reading all the notes and everything on it, it doesn't have really great reviews being a good custard per se, but it at certain percentages higher, it's a good pudding. So that's why working together, they make a really good pudding.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Well, yeah, there's different ways to, I guess, build a recipe.
Oh yeah, that's why if you were to build it, it would be something totally different, probably.
Well, I mean, there's different ways to like reach in a recipe. It's just all about how you want to attack it. You know what I mean? You can get like waffle or whatever. I mean, you can get a waffle from like a pie crust. That's, you know what I mean? Like there's different ways that you can get to a waffle or base from other concentrates.
Right, exactly.
It's cool that I want to check out one out too. I've been so busy lately, I haven't had a chance to really get a mix or anything like that. I mean, I've been working on that damn pumpkin. Like folk art, he got his done. Dude, I worked on that son of a bitch.
So yeah, I want to hear about this pumpkin that's made. Wait, let's go. Hold on, let's go. I want to hear about this sweet potato that's made out of a pumpkin.
Okay. All right.
I mean, how do you do that?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's called flavor bending.
Exactly. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just for the note, just to make a note, I just mixed a 30 ml bottle right before the show of his pumpkin pie. Why do I want to call it pumpkin pie? Because we had pumpkin on the brain. Of his sweet potato pie. And it smells like pumpkin pie for real. It really does.
Does it smell like pumpkin pie or does it smell like sweet potato pie?
That's what I'm trying to say. Oh my freaking gosh.
Okay.
You guys really have to excuse me because I say
it's all right.
Backwards things all the time. So anyway, yes, it smells like sweet potato pie.
Awesome,
yes.
Awesome. Okay, great.
Yes.
That's great.
So you want me to talk about the sweet potato pie?
I would.
Please do.
Okay, let me bring it up right quick. Give me just a second. Where is it?
David went away.
No, I'm here. I'm just talking about that sweet potato pie.
Okay, so I've been single flavor testing the entire line of Wonder flavors for the last few months. I hadn't got through all of them, but I've got through about half of them. And there was one in particular that when I made my notes on this flavor, I thought, man, that would make a really good pumpkin pie crust. And it was Wonder Flavors Caramel Rice Krispie Treats, believe it or not. To me, it didn't taste like caramel Rice Krispie treats. What it tasted like was that crust that's on the bottom of a pie. That's kind of moist. That's just kind of moist and kind of takes in some of the essence from the pumpkin into that crust. That's what it tasted like to me. So that's what I wrote down in my notes. So when David and I were talking about doing some fall recipes, I thought, hey, I'm gonna make a pumpkin pie. Well, he kind of said it first, and I thought, oh damn. So I thought, hey, if he's gonna make a pumpkin pie, I'm gonna make a sweet potato pie. So I had to take the pumpkin that I was going to use, which was Hanson pumpkin, and try to bend that into a sweet potato pie. Which, if you've tasted a sweet potato pie and a pumpkin pie, there's not that much difference.
No.
You know, we've had them here like at Christmas and Thanksgiving and things. And my nephew, he doesn't like sweet potato pie, or so he thinks. Because we have substituted sweet potatoes for pumpkin pie, and I love this pumpkin pie. So, and he's probably in the chat right now, so sorry, bud. Yeah. So,
real quick though, I mean, that's the thing about like sweet potato and pumpkin pie. I think, and I'll talk about that when I get to my recipe. With the nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, whatever they put in there, I think that's like one of the main flavor profiles. But go ahead.
Right.
I'll touch on that a little bit when I talk about mine.
yeah.
For both.
So, so this sweet potato pie that I made, to try to bend the pumpkin into a sweet potato pie, I thought that it needed to have a little more of a caramel, slightly caramel, buttery type of taste to it, or feel to it. So I added, did I freeze there for a second? Okay, so I added TPA RY4 double. And to me, that has like a caramel, kind of a leafy kind of texture to it. Maybe a little bit of vanilla as well.
Yes, a little bit of vanilla. Yes.
And when I combine that with the HS pumpkin, it just turned that pumpkin straight into a sweet potato pie. And it was that simple. And when it was luck, but it worked. And that's why it only took me 2 days to do it. And then with the crust, I went back to my notes and found that Rice Krispie Treats, caramel Rice Krispie Treats by Wonder Flavors, and used that as the crust. And also, it needed to be a little more flaky, a little more pastry to it, because it was more like that moist crust that's on the bottom of a pie. It wasn't really the top flaky around the edges, you know. So I kind of I thought I wanted to add some type of a spice to it as well. So, and I thought the cinnamon Danish swirl, the capped cinnamon Danish swirl, would be, perfect for that, because it has just enough cinnamon in it. It's not overpowering cinnamon like a lot of cinnamon flavorings has. So that's what I used for that, and everything just kind of fell into place, and I think it tastes like a sweet potato pie. And of course, I added the toasted marshmallows on top, because that's the way us in the South like it.
Yeah, I know the use of cinnamon Danish swirl.
Absolutely.
0.75%, which is that's good, because I always find that once you get over a certain threshold with that concentrate, it kind of like overpowers and takes over a mix.
Yeah.
I myself don't.
You have to use it very thoroughly.
Yeah. I myself don't have HS pumpkin. And that was one of the reasons why I went the route that I did on my recipe. But mine was a pain in the ass. I'm gonna tell you right now. I know.
I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was messing with Bogart for a couple of weeks on telling him I was gonna kick his ass and with my pumpkin pie. Like in my notes in my recipe. You can even see I put why like my pumpkin pie #Bogart, because it was a difficult profile for me to replicate. I'm not saying that like the spices and that aren't there, but the flavors that are available to us in the community for like a pumpkin spice or a pumpkin they're just really not there. And it was a difficult profile for me because I look at it as, and I had this, and actually I created a poll on Facebook for you guys. How often do you guys change vapes throughout the day? Me personally, I never do. I vape on the same thing like constantly all day. I don't really switch up my vapes throughout the day. And I don't know if it's because of my job or whatever, but I think it might go back to my days of smoking. Like if I'm smoking a full flavor cigarette, if I switch vapes, to me, it's like I'm switching over to like a menthol, like, you know what I mean? So I guess I'm kind of accustomed to that taste. Once I vape something, I got to keep vaping that same flavor throughout the day, unless I'm doing, recipe development or whatever. I will do change flavors throughout the day. But like I said, this was a difficult one for me because basically what it boils down to is the pumpkins that are out on the market right now, the concentrates that are offered in the pumpkin flavor, I feel they don't really hit the mark. I was excited. I actually ordered one-on-one flavors, pumpkin, one-on-one flavors, pumpkin pie, one-on-one flavors, pumpkin latte, custard, which I didn't use. I didn't even flavor test that yet. Me and ID10T were just pissing around on Discord the one day, and I said, "What the hell?" I ended up ordering the flavor pack with all the savory flavor pack from One-on-One Flavors.
Dave, that's going to be a show too.
Jesus God!
Oh yeah.
I put that stuff in the mail, dude. It literally smelled like a McDonald's dumpster, like in the back alley. They have fucking. They got garlic, onion, ketchup, mustard, fucking like 3 different types of cheeses. Like I literally, I tried to, like, I don't know if you could see, like I tried to like hide them in the corner, like my dude. They are so potent and like just it's whatever. But we'll get to that like at another show. But one of the main reasons why I went to One-on-One is to get the pumpkin flavors because I was really excited. I've heard some good things about One-on-One, but for me, their pumpkin flavors, dude, they were like, I don't know. I can't describe it. It's not onions or something.
Was it more of just like a pumpkin spice, just like the spice of?
Well, I would say like the regular pumpkin, when I flavor tested it, it had a chemical note to it that it was just like a really off note to the pumpkin that it really didn't represent like a pumpkin. But I mean, if you think about it, like pumpkin's kind of like a squash or like a zucchini or something. It more or less just has like to me, like a bitter flavor, or like you really don't get like no type of flavor like with like a pumpkin. I mean, kind of, but like you really don't get like a full flavor from like a pumpkin.
Right.
Their representation on it, I think, wasn't good at all. And even with the pumpkin pie, it was really lacking the crust aspect of it and the spice aspect of it. Now, when I interrupted you before, when you were talking about your recipe, when I think pumpkin pie, I always think the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the allspice, or whatever you put in your pumpkin pie. I think that those 3 spices are what really represent a pumpkin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now the difficult part for me was the crust. I knew what type of crust I wanted to go for. The crust, I mean, you could use a graham crust and stuff like that. And I felt that would probably be like the easy way out. I really didn't want to go for like a graham cracker type crust with the pie. I wanted to go for more of a buttery, crispy, flaky type of crust in my recipe. So that kind of part was easy. Like when I do a pie, I always try to focus on the and then build the body of the pie. But for this recipe, it was the other way around. I had like the crust was there. I just had to build that body of that pumpkin in order to get some kind of representation of a pumpkin pie in this recipe. And basically the crust is just your basic, you know, I&W biscuit, and your Capella sugar cookie. You know, those two combined, for me, I know that they make a really buttery, flaky crust. So, you know, that was a given right there. I incorporated some acetylpyrazine AP into it to give it more of that bakery type, nutty type flavor, to kind of add to the accent of the crust to make it a little bit more authentic. Now, like I said, the filling for me was a little bit more difficult because I had a few options. One-on-one flavors was out for me. I flavor tested them real quick, and I said, "This is bullshit." Like, I waited a week for these, and in my opinion, they were crap. They didn't sit well in the mix. Maybe on the steep. I mean, I let them steep for a couple days, but I really wasn't getting that representation that I really needed from those two concentrates. Now, Real Flavors Pumpkin, that's another one. It's good, but it's a very difficult, like a lot of Real Flavors for that matter. Some of them, I wouldn't say all of them, but some of them are kind of difficult to work with. If used correctly, you can really balance them in a mix. But I did receive the Real Flavors Pumpkin Super Concentrate I want to say 3-4 months ago. I had released a pumpkin, like, I don't know, probably like 5, 6, maybe 7 months ago, but I actually took that down off of ATF because I didn't really like the way it sat. Yeah. So kind of like, and then I have Capella's pumpkin spice. That's a super strong concentrate in my opinion.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's actually also hard to work with. And it's funny because I could see why there's not a lot of pumpkin pie recipes out in the community, because for me personally, I think that is a very difficult pie to make, to get that authentic representation of the pie. I could have went a different route, guys, and I could have said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to throw some vanilla bean ice cream at it. I can throw some heavy creams at it and make it more of like a creamy, with a little bit of spice in there. But for me, that's kind of like cheating and saying, well, you know what, it's okay. Yeah, it's a pie, but you know what, it's more of like a creamy feeling. You're not really getting that crust representation off of the recipe. So what I was shooting for was just a plain, authentic pumpkin pie recipe. Yeah. I could have swore I probably went through 20 or 25 different versions of this recipe. And I've tested everything. I've tested lemon meringue pie. I even went I think it was Flavor Art apple pie, because that makes a good crust. That wasn't there. I even went with Capella's New York cheesecake, which seemed kind of like worked, but it muted the spice aspect of it when I tried to play with that a little bit in there. I mean, I've tested everything in there and nothing seemed to work. And in the end, like I said, I chose Real Flavors pumpkin pie. I used that at a 2%, and I chose Capella's pumpkin spice at 0.75%. Now, you could probably get the same results with Capella's pumpkin spice if you was probably to use it at like a 1.5 or 1.75 and omit the Real Flavors pumpkin. But those two combined together, and the reason why I combined those together is because Real Flavors does have a good type of pumpkin, a very slight crust, maybe some like brown sugar in there, and it does have the cinnamon and the nutmeg in there, but it's really faint. But the pumpkin aspect of it, I kind of get like a chemical flavor from it. And I don't know if it's because like some of their super concentrates, they put alcohol in. Maybe that might be the problem. But I couldn't get rid of that off note. And with, like I said, Capella's pumpkin spice being so hard to work with, I figured maybe if I incorporate the Capella's pumpkin spice with the Real Flavors pumpkin pie, I can kind of create that base of that pumpkin with the spices that I'm looking for that's lacking from the Real Flavors, which it worked out pretty good. It kind of covered up the Capella's pumpkin spice, kind of covered up the chemical note that I was getting off the Real Flavors pumpkin pie. Yeah. And so now the only problem I was running into was I wasn't getting that like inner body of the pumpkin, like that creamy aspect of the filling of the pie.
Like the texture.
What's that?
Like the texture of it.
Yeah, like the texture of the filling of the pie. I was missing that aspect of it, like that. I'm not saying that pumpkin pie is like a creamy, but like you said, it has that like wet type flavor to it, and that was something that combining those two concentrates I was missing out of that. And I needed some kind of like milky undertones or like a condensed milk type sweetness to envelop in those two flavors to kind of try to give it some body, for the filling of the pie. So I went with the Vienna cream, the cream fresh, and the sweetener to kind of give it that milkiness, to kind of like complement the filling of the pie, and also the Capella's custard version 1 to try to give it more of a body, to thicken it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All in all, this was the best representation that I could come up with as a pumpkin pie. I'm sure there's other recipes out there that are I'm sure that there probably is a lot of recipes out there that are better. But as far as my mixing skills, this was probably the best representation as a plain pumpkin pie. Like I said, I wasn't going for like any ice cream topping or any like cream topping or anything like that. But you when you do vape it, you do get the buttery crust note. You do get the texture from the crust with the Capella sugar cookie, and with the other concentrates used, you do get the spice notes that you're looking for. That it's in an authentic pumpkin pie. It was very difficult for me because, like I said, me personally, if I can't vape something as an all-day vape, I really don't release a recipe on all the flavors. But since me and Folk Art was kind of like battling a little bit there, if you want to talk about, I kind of threw it out there for you guys to, to test out. And honestly, I mean, it would probably be good for an after dinner vape or like your morning coffee. It hit the spot. But other than that, I couldn't see myself, vaping it all day. But I was getting used to it, and I think that's the thing too with such heavy spices like pumpkin recipes and stuff like that. Just those heavy spices like the nutmeg and cinnamon, your palate has to get adjusted to those flavors in order for you to vape them constantly. Oh, and that's another thing too. I mean, I even tried, I think it was Flavora's eggnog, and there was another one that I tried to throw at it. Oh, it was Holiday Spice. That could have worked, but Capella's pumpkin pie kind of took the lead as far as like the spicy notes. I mean, Holiday Spice will work also, but as far as like the winner being in that recipe, it was the pumpkin pie spice. And real quick though, before we move on, that's a lot of things like new mixers run into. They always kind of seem to use, okay, this is what I have on hand, so this is what I'm going to use. But when you're in recipe development, that's one of the things that you want to do. You want to use the best possible combinations of the flavor concentrates that you have. Like for me personally, like I have the Holiday Spice. I'm not just going to throw Holiday Spice at it and say, okay, well, this is the only concentrate that I have, so you know what, this is good enough. No, that's not how you create a recipe. You want to use and flavor test all your concentrates when you're in recipe development to use the best possible that you have in a recipe. And in this recipe, like I said, the winner was Capella's pumpkin spice. And I know a lot of people can't stand that concentrate. You said it tastes like sticks to you.
I think it tastes like a pine tree root.
Yeah. What percentages were you using it at?
I think I tested it at. It was a pretty high percentage actually. I think I was tested at 1%. But yeah. I don't. Just as I mean, to me, pumpkin pie, which is actually pumpkin pie spice. Mm-hmm. To me, I think is an additive. It's not. It's hard. It would be hard to build a recipe around that. That's more of just something to add to it, to give it more, of a pumpkin spice rather than a pumpkin flavor.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, it does, because that's the thing. Like, I think I started off at like a 1, 1.5. And then when I let it steep for a couple days, for some reason, the pumpkin, well, not for some reason, but it's just what it is the pumpkin spice from Capella kind of like not steeped out, but it kind of mellowed out. Like it wasn't as strong. So for the happy median, like I said, I dropped it down to a 0.75 to where it worked out in the recipe. And like I said, I mean, some people might like it as an all-day vape, but like I said, me personally, I can't really. I have to vape something all day in order for me to release it, and I mean, it might get 3 stars, whatever.
But Dave, are you happy with the result?
Yes, because like honestly, Lewis, I probably have, and I'm not kidding, probably like 20 to 25 different combinations that I can like bring to the table for that recipe. And I feel that for me personally, as a mixer and my abilities that I have, I feel as far as like a plain pumpkin pie. Now, if it's a custard or something like that, I can bang that out all day. That's not a problem, because with the heavy custards and creams and stuff like that, you can really mute a lot of those flavors in there, you know, and bring out the cream aspect of the recipe. But with those concentrates that I used in there for just a plain pumpkin pie with like no toppings, I'm happy with where it sits. I really don't think, I mean, I guess the way I went at it, Lewis, was more of a textbook type of recipe than like imagination where folk art went to. Like, you know what I mean? Like folk art used his creativity in putting his recipe out with using the Wonder Flavors crispy. In me, it was more like, okay, it's textbook. This is how this recipe should be made, and it's kind of like more of a textbook like way I went into the recipe. Whereas folk art used more creativity, which he wins points in, because me, like I said, it was more of just like textbook. This is how a pumpkin pie should be made. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it's great, and as soon as I get, I have to order the Real Flavors pumpkin pie, but as soon as I get it, I'm gonna mix it up. I've got all the rest of the flavors.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
All right. Hey, Eddie and guys, got any new devices or anything like you guys want to talk about or anything?
I got a label maker.
Awesome, dude. Why don't you talk about that for a little bit?
Okay. I got the Dymo label maker. I love this thing. It doesn't use ink. It uses heat to print on, and it can do graphics as well. Right here is one of the
cool
labels that I printed out. I really love it. I haven't used it that much yet. I got it like Thursday, and I've kind of been busy. I hadn't been able to really get into it much, into the graphics. But yeah, it's really cool. It costs like $49 on Amazon. It's the 450 Turbo, I think they call it. And it does all different label sizes. You can get, I think you can get clear labels if you want clear labels. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. It's nice. It's better than buying those sheets of printer paper. Those things are expensive. The roll, the labels comes on a roll. So the rolls I haven't really priced that much, but I think David had sent me a couple links to some pretty cheap places to buy those labels. So I'm gonna experiment more with them and see how it goes. But loving it so far.
Cool.
I got a new RDA.
Did you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's an iJoy 5S.
Cool.
It has bottom airflow, side airflow, and the first time I built it, it didn't work very well. But then I rebuilt it, and now it's chunking lots of flavor. It's very, I'm enjoying this RDTA very, very, very much. It only has one negative point, which is it only holds 2.5 mLs of liquid. But if you have this kind of bottles, you don't have to open anything. You just pump their juice and refill the tank very, very easily.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm loving it very, very much.
Cool.
And that's an RDTA.
RDTA, and I love the color. This is the gunmetal. I love the color.
Nice.
And the drip tip is a gun style drip tip. Autumn, very, very nice. I'm loving it.
Awesome.
Nice.
So we're going to get into real quick before we announce the winners. Our show might go over maybe about 10 more minutes than usual because we're going to announce our winners at the end of the show for the nice 100 giveaway that we're going to do today. We've got a couple scales that we're going to be giving out and a couple $25 gift cards to Bull City Vapes. For the guys that are going to be winning the Bull City Vapes gift cards, those will be sent out immediately after the show. All I got to do is I got to go on their website. I talked to Bull City Vapes down there. It's a code that you guys will receive in your email. Okay, so as soon as the show's over, I will Bull City Vape get the gift cards in the checkout, get those checked out for you guys, and then I'll send those out for you in your email at the end of the show. So today we're going to be mixing up the Ooey Gooey by Daddy Kane. He's not here to talk about the recipe, so if I can multitask, guys, but if you guys want to, you guys mixed it up. I haven't yet. If you want to talk about the recipe a little bit while I'm, mixing it up, that would be cool. If you're going to pop that up for us, full cart. We'll get straight to them here.
Okay. All right. Okay. The Ooey Gooey butter cake, I believe it's called. Daddy Kane made this recipe. We'll just read his description here. This is actually version 2 of his Ooey Gooey. So in his first version, he goes a little bit more in detail what an Ooey Gooey butter cake is. And let me just bring this up. This is what he was going for. So this is the Ooey Gooey butter cake. I can't really get all of this on the screen at one time here, but it's let me see if I can. It's a decadent 2-layer treat originated in St. Louis. Bottom layer is a delicious buttery yellow cake, while the top layer is a rich mixture of cream cheese, sugar, and egg. Available in single packs and yada yada yada. So this is what he was going for, and here is his recipe. And he goes into this is his version 2, so he's changed a few things from his original version. And this is what he's got in it. It's got 0.5 Anywhere biscuit, 2% cap buttercream, 1% cap cake batter, 0.5% cap graham cracker version 2, 2% FA Nana's cake, 1% TPA toasted marshmallow, and 0.5% TPA vanilla swirl.
Yeah, my only concern, I know my mic's always goofy when I mix. I'll try to move it over a little bit. If you can't hear me, guys, I apologize.
We can hear you okay.
We can so far.
My only concern with this recipe would be the use of Nana's cake being so high. I know Tammy and Lewis, you guys mixed this recipe up earlier in the week, and you told me that you were really tasting that anise flavor in the recipe.
Now I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh yeah, now I can.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna move my mic here over to here. So, like I said, you guys said that you were getting a real heavy anise flavor from this.
Well, that's an old discussion between us. What kinds of flavors does Nona's cake give? You know, you get anise from Nona's cake. You know, it reminds me, Nona's cake, it reminds me an old homemade cake, Italian cake. And there you get, in an old Italian cake has lemon and has lots of spices, like anise, but other things like cardamom and, you know, and I don't get a plain anise from Nona's cake. But I get a slight lemony taste and a load of some spices, like anise, like cardamom, and some other things that I don't even know how to call it in English.
Now
so,
go ahead.
Sorry?
No, go ahead.
So, I like the recipe very much, but I think as going that high on the on Nona's cake percentage, I think that that spices that come from Nona's cake are too heavy on the recipe. That's my thought on it.
Yeah, and if some of the newer mixers don't know what anise tastes like, I know when I first started, I heard people talking about anise. I thought, what the hell are they talking about? It's like a black licorice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get the sorry guys, for some reason, like I opened my friggin' vanilla swirl and my dripper's like missing off it. Like I don't know what the hell happened to that, so I'm gonna transfer it into a bottle real quick. But as far as Nana's cake, I really don't get a lemon flavor from it. My palate doesn't pick it up at all. But I guess some people do. Well, actually, a lot of people do in the community.
Very little bit.
They pick up the lemon in it. Now, do you guys, besides Lewis, because he said he already did, do you guys pick up that lemon flavor from Nana's cake?
Very slightly. Just very slightly.
Yeah.
I actually.
It's.
I'm sorry, Lewis.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Nona's cake, it's not an easy flavor to work with because, for one, it's very strong. It's a very, very strong spicy cake, and you have to use it thoroughly. Also, that is at very low percentages, or it will overcome to your mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess
I think that 2% is a bit high.
Yeah. I guess I'm the only one here that hasn't even tried Nana's cake, so I can't really comment on it.
So who do you think the lucky winners are going to be for the giveaway there? Actually, how are you going to? Because I'm almost done mixing this up, guys. So actually, how are you going to be doing this, folk art?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is, or what I have done actually, is people that wanted to get a chance to win a set of scales. We have 2 sets of 501, 500-gram digital scales that we're going to give away. And we have 2 $25 gift certificates to Bull City Flavors to give away. And the way we did it is we asked people to send me an email by Saturday at 5 p.m., I think it was. And as the emails came in, the first one, I wrote their name down and put a number 1 beside it. And second email, put their name down, put number 2 beside of it. And I will actually have those posted up here in just a minute on the live show where you can see the names and the numbers. And I'm also going to put up a random number generator. And so when I hit that random number generator, it will pick a number between 1 and 15. There was 15 people that entered the contest. And it'll pick 1, and that will be our first winner. And we'll go on down the line, pick 3 more winners. Now, if we hit on your number again, sorry, but you can only win one prize. So if we pick your number again, we'll hit the button again and try to get a different number and until all the prizes are gone. And then once we have picked all of our winners, I will send you an email saying that you've won, and all you have to do is respond back within a week with your mailing address, and we will ship those right out to you. So,
now, you going to post that up on the Facebook and that too for them guys?
I can post it up on Facebook. Sure. I can post the winners on that. And but yeah, so that's what we're going to do. It won't take us long. So stay tuned.
All right, I'm done mixing this up. I'm going to give it a shake, and then we will test it out. So real quick, guys, too, while I'm shaking this up, get back on camera for you guys. You know, just for you guys, you know, check out our Facebook group. We are on Facebook, and we are there. If not one of us, we're pretty much there 24 hours a day because we have people from all over the world that actually belong to the Facebook group. So if you guys ever have any questions, you can reach out to us on Facebook or the Discord. You can check us out either way. Sorry, my camera's got kind of goofy on me there for a minute. Take my gloves off. Let me vape. I gotta vape off this custard that I'm vaping right now, and we're gonna shake this up. So actually, Folkart, if you want to, while I'm shaking this up, we have damn, we have about 5 minutes before the end of the show, but we kind of started a couple minutes earlier. So if you want to get that stuff, you have that stuff ready to go for the giveaway?
All I gotta do is bring it up. Yep.
Awesome. I wish Daddy Kane was here because he knows I'm a prick when it comes to mixing recipes. I'll tell him flat out. I mean, I'm not a dick. I mean, but some people might think I'm a dick, but I mean, I try to be honest. You know what I mean? Like if I think it needs something else, and while I was looking at the recipe, I even said to myself, I've never tasted an ooey gooey cake. Number one, because I have been gluten-free for about 4 years, and I have to be. So I really don't have the luxury of eating cakes and breads and stuff like that anymore in my life. So I've never tasted one. If they have a gluten-free version, I probably would taste it, but it would probably be nothing like the original.
Thank God you can vape it.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, I've never tasted one, so I don't know what to compare it to. But
I haven't either. So
yeah, I don't know. Where the hell did these things? Is it like something? Is it big someplace else in the United States?
Well, apparently, yes. The website that Folk Art read off of, it said it was from Philadelphia.
It said it was from St. Louis. Is that right? St.
Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, Paula Deen has a version that's really popular.
Oh God, Paula Deen.
Think about it. A butter dessert full of butter. Paula Deen's going to be right on it.
She puts 10 pounds of butter in everything.
Exactly.
If it's not a Paula Deen recipe, it doesn't have butter in it.
So I was curious when I first mixed it. I'm thinking ooey gooey. I'm like, what is this supposed to taste like? I had no clue. Well, and that's why I had to go do a search. What is this supposed to be like? And then I found Paula Deen. That was the first thing that came up. And then I went to his first recipe and he referenced the St. Louis thing. And I went and found that description. And I was like, oh, okay. I see.
Now, you guys talked about the recipe, but doesn't smell bad. My only thing is, why did he use? I could smell the anise just by putting it on my cotton.
Mm-hmm.
My only thing is why did he use anise? Not anise. I'm sorry. Anise. Oh, come on, Tam. Why did he use Nana's cake? There's a lot. I mean, as far as concentrate in the community, there's a lot more options out there for cakes. And that's one of the reasons why I wish he was on the show right now, that I could talk to him and ask him why he chose Nana's cake over, like, say, Flavor West cake, or, you know, or
like a yellow cake or a cupcake or vanilla cupcake or something. Yeah,
like anything. That's like the only thing that I could see messing up this recipe. Now, for me, Capella's cake batter is super strong, in my opinion. I can always tell. I don't care if you use that shit at 0.25. My palate picks Capella's cake batter right out of the mix. So with it being at 1%, I mean, that's right for it being a cake. But like I said, if he was probably to incorporate another cake, you might not get that anise in there. I don't know if it will steep out, because he does have a 14-day steep on it.
He does have cupcake batter in it.
Yeah, he has. He has vanilla swirl, Nana's cake, and cake batter. I'm saying cupcake. Capella's has a cupcake, vanilla cupcake, or flavor cake. Like, you know what I mean? Or they even have I don't know which one it is. The cake batter. I think it's Flavor West. Flavor West makes it's the Flavor West. Flavor West. They actually make yellow cake. You know what I mean? And they
Flavor West yellow cake is awesome.
Yes, it is.
They actually make a cake batter dip. They make both of those. So I for him using Nana's cake, I don't know why. Does like you said, you guys never really tasted an ooey gooey cake. I haven't. I
haven't either.
Does it have anise in it?
From the description, it didn't sound like it did.
Yeah, from the description, it's like a buttery yellow cake with cream cheese, sugar, and egg.
Well, then you could use Lorenz cream cheese in it, icing. But that's also strong too. But you'd have to use that really at a low percent. But if you think about it, you could probably use like a New York cheesecake to get that cheese aspect in the vape. I mean, I'd have to sit down and taste one, and I have to really look at the recipe in order to duplicate that. But to get like that cheesiness to it, he used buttercream. Yeah, he did. Buttercream, you kind of get that, like that thickness, like the buttery. You could probably use like a New York cheesecake incorporated with the cake, the buttercream, in order to get that that thickness, like that cheesy type flavor to it, like that cream cheese. I don't think Lorenz cream cheese icing would be a good fit in this, because that flavor, again, using it even at low percents, like for me, my palate, everybody might be different. I could pick that out like a son of a bitch in a recipe if somebody uses Lorenz cream cheese icing in the recipe. I mean, the recipe's not bad. It's a good cake. I can definitely taste the Capella's cake batter. But you guys, Lewis and Tammy, you guys are correct on the Nana's cake. I could taste the anise in it for some reason. I maybe he doesn't. But I do.
He said he didn't. I don't know.
It might steep out, but like everybody's palate's different. I taste it on the ass end though. It's not like it's all the way through the vape.
It's on the XL.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on the
XL, yes.
Yeah.
It's more content on the XL, yes.
Yes, it's on the bottom of the vape, and like when I did my Nana's, not your Nana's custard, strawberry. It was a strawberry. I think it was a strawberry custard.
Not your Nana's strawberry.
Is that what it was? It's been so long.
Yeah.
I wanted that note, but I wanted that note at the bottom.
But I didn't taste it that strong in that. It was more strawberry.
Like when we were talking about that too, about incorporating the Nana's cake with Inuara. Is that how it is? Inuara shisha strawberry. It has like a wild leafy type flavor to me, but you do get the strawberry. And I think that bitterness of the leafiness to my mix that I did, it kind of like mutes at nanas. You know what I mean? I even use nanas, I think, a little higher, but I wanted it like at the end of the vape, which I'm getting the same thing, but I don't think that's not a good flavor to put in there for this at all. I'm not saying it's a good vape. I like it because I like anise. I like Pizzelle cookies. My grandmother and my mother used to make those cookies all the time, like around Christmas, for the holidays and stuff like that. And I love those cookies, and I can eat them nonstop. I love the flavor, but for a cake, I don't think this is a good fit, like not as cake. And the reason why I say that is because there are probably 2 or 3 options right off the bat that I would put in this recipe. Like, you know what I mean? To have it like a cake. Like, you know, like you guys said, you got vanilla cupcake, but you got Flavor West cake batter dip. You got Flavor West yellow cake. Christ, you even got, I think Wonder Flavors even has they have a cake too? Like, there's so many different cakes out there that you could probably
yeah.
But like I said, I'll give it the 14 days to see if it steeps out, which I doubt it, unless I
tasted mine with a week steep.
Week steep?
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. Like, if I was to if somebody was to hand me this vape and say, hey, vape this, tell me how you like it. On a scale of like 1 to 5, I would probably say, okay, it's a 4.5. It's a good vape. Like this, because I'm a bakery type of dude, I could vape this shit probably 3-4 hours straight. Like I enjoy it, but representing just like an ooey gooey cake,
the profile,
I would say no. I would say no because of the anise. Like I like if the anise wasn't there, okay, yeah, dude, straight up. Like, you know what I mean? But with the anise being present in it, it's not a cake. I mean, it's a cake, don't get me wrong, but it's got anise in it. And that's why I don't understand why he put anise. That's why I wish he was on the show. But like you said, Tammy, when you talked to him on the Discord, like throughout the week, he said that he didn't taste the anise. Now that his palate might not pick that up. So,
right.
Yeah.
So it might be spot on for him, but everybody's palate's different. But as far as rating this recipe, is like me, like you guys know, I'm a picky son of a bitch when it comes to vaping. And even in the poll that I posted on Facebook, I have to, like, I vape on shit all day. I can vape this probably 6 hours all day.
Oh, no.
Because the cake batter note is subtle, and it's at the beginning of the vape, and it's not too strong. And you do get that fullness from it, from the buttercream. I don't taste the biscuit in there at all. Like I don't taste the biscuit in there. But I do get the creams from the cake. That's one thing. That's why I say cake batter is so strong. I taste the cake batter. I get the cake from the Donna's cream, but I also get the anise. I get the creaminess, slight toasted note from the marshmallow. Vanilla swirl does add that little bit of vanilla, a little bit of like icing that you would get from like a cinnamon Danish, but not the cinnamon. You know what I mean? Like I get that icing in there, but I don't get the biscuit at all in there. I think the cake batter drowns that out. Graham cracker, okay, it gives it a little bit of texture. Recipe's not bad, but like I said, I don't, me personally too, I don't understand why the non cake's there, but it's a good recipe. I mean,
yeah, it is. It is a good recipe.
It's a good recipe.
Yeah,
like if it was named something different, like it wasn't like an ooey gooey. I mean, I would say ooey gooey, but if it was an ooey gooey, non cake, yeah, you know, because of the anise. But how do you guys like rate it?
Well, am I on mute? No. Okay. No. When I mixed it, I was expecting like gooey, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is black licorice," and because of the anise, whatever you call it. I used to work in fragrance, and we had a fragrance called anise. So So that's why I say anise. So I don't know how you're supposed to say it. So anyway, I was like, man, this is nothing gooey about it. And that's when I was like, where's the profile? What are we supposed to taste like? Because I don't taste gooey.
I actually, honestly, Tam, not to interrupt you, I really enjoy it. I really do. Like,
but you really like that anise.
Well, yeah, I do. I like.
I was in shock because I didn't know what to expect when I first hit it, and that was not what I expected.
Yeah.
Like if you honestly, instead of naming it Ooey Gooey, if he was to name it something else, it would be. I like it. I really like the vape. You know what I mean? But as far as an Ooey Gooey cake, like just regular cake, I'm thinking of like a wet, like heavy, like sugary type cake with some texture, like birthday cake almost, but like a soggy birthday cake. Like it's kind of hard to like say it, but like a pound cake or something that's like really heavy cake notes with like a lot of sugar. Like that's
like sticky almost.
Yeah, like a sticky cake, like how if you was to take a piece of like a cake, like a pound cake or something, if you was to put it in plastic wrap and put it on your counter in like 80-degree weather, and you was to take the plastic wrap off, it has that like wet film over it, and it's just like super moist and gooey, sugary, in your face type cake. Yeah, that's Ooey Gooey cake, but this isn't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is more like
I thought you were comparing this to that, and I was like, no. Okay, yeah.
Really enjoy it. All right, so moving on. Unless you got any thoughts on it, Lewis. Moving on, we are.
No, I think I said all my thoughts. I think that it's a good recipe. It's a good vape. But if it were for my palate, I would go, if I could make a change to the recipe, I would go, I would reduce Donna's cake to 0.5% and then put some maybe Flavor West yellow cake 1.5%. Maybe something around that.
Yes, it's really good. I could tell you right now, though, I will finish this 30 mil. You know what I mean?
Great.
Because that's one thing about Capella's cake batter. I like it once in a while, like once every 6 months, just to please my palate, to get that I guess you want to call super decatones from flavor or from Capella's cake batter. I enjoy that flavor. I think it's used well in the recipe. I think the recipe's well balanced, except for the anise. It's really good. I think if the anise wasn't there, but like I said, I enjoy it. So if you want to move on to
just let me say, all this talk made me want to make a new recipe with do you have in the state, do you have croissants?
Yes.
Croissants, yes.
Yeah. Here in Portugal we have croissants, but with some filling, with some and we have croissants filled with some. Well, it's not a custard, but more or less like a custard inside the
cream
croissant.
Cheese, like a flavored cream cheese, or
no? It's made mostly of eggs and sugar and some.
Okay.
I want to make that.
Yeah,
I'll make that in the near future.
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome.
Definitely. Well, I would put biscuit in that because you get that butter. Like that's another thing. I know we got to move on, but real quick. Jungle Flavors biscuit versus I&W biscuit. I know ID10T will probably be like, you know what, whatever. But I still think I&W biscuit is better than JF biscuit because I actually tried JF biscuit in my crust, and it just didn't have that buttery.
I don't have access to Jungle Flavors, so I have to stick within the way.
So, but getting back to your recipe that you said you wanted to create, I&W biscuit will probably be a good play in that with custard.
Yeah. Custard, some yellow cake.
Yeah.
Okay. we'll think about that we'll talk about that in the future.
Talk about that offline.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Is everybody ready for the big contest? Drum roll. All right.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's see who's going to win this stuff.
Okay, so I'm not sure if y'all can see this, our group here, but everybody can see this on the live stream. I've got a list of names with numbers beside of them. And like I said before, I put numbers beside of these names as the emails came in. The first email is number 1, second email is number 2, on down to the list of number 15. There were 15 people that entered the contest. So as you can see here, I have the random number generator up from random.org, and it's going to pick one number out of 15. So I'll hit this button, and whatever number comes up, that is the person who will win. Now, Dave, what prize are we going to have first? Is David there? David is not there. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll pick.
Start with the scale. Pick with the scale.
No, I'm here. I'm here. If you guys want to do, if you want to start off with the scales, or if you want to do scale gift card.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so the first prize is going to be the 500-gram digital scales, and here we go. Drum roll. And it's number 13. Number 13 is Convape. Convape. You have won a 500-gram digital scale, and we will ship that to you. All you need to do is...
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Convape.
Absolutely. I will send you an email, and all you have to do is respond back to me within a week with your mailing address, and we will ship it to you. And as long as you're not like overseas or something, I don't think it'll be a problem on shipping. But it shouldn't cost you a thing. So just look for that email, and good job. Okay, so on to the next prize. The next prize is going to be a $25 gift certificate to Bull City Flavors. Drum roll, please. Number three is Josh Porch. He has won a $25 gift certificate to Bull City Flavors. Now let me tell you, Josh.
Congratulations, Josh.
Josh was really wanting this. He really was wanting this because he is just starting to mix a few recipes, and he wanted to use that $25 to buy like 4 or 5 flavorings of this recipe that him and I actually came up with. So he's going to use that to buy just those flavors, and he's going to start mixing that for himself all the time. So,
hey, real quick,
great.
Josh, I seen Josh in the chat. Josh, if you want to shoot your email and that over to Folk Art after the show, I can get that to you like today, if you want.
Awesome. I've already got his email, so yeah, all he has to do is send me his address.
Cool.
Okay, and I'll send the addresses to you, David, or Tammy.
You don't really see. That's the thing with the Bull City flavor gift cards. They give you, because I talked to them on the phone, and they give you a code, and I could just email him a code, and he can use that instantly on Bull City flavor.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay.
I need one of those.
All right, so let's go on to winner number 3. Number 3. Do I have a drum roll? The lucky winner is number 7. Number 7, Sean Hope. Sean Hope. He has won a set of 500-gram digital scales. I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but he doesn't have to be present to win. So all you have to do...
Congratulations, Sean.
Absolutely. So all you have to do is look for that email. I will be sending you an email, and all you have to do is respond to me within a week and with your mailing address, and we will get that out to you. All right, fantastic. All right, the last one. And the number is number 14. Number 14 is Mickey Maynard. Mickey Maynard, you have won a $25 gift certificate to Bull City Flavors.
Awesome.
So just look.
Congratulations, Mickey.
Absolutely. So just look for my email. We will be sending you that, and get back with me in a week with your address, and we'll get that to you. Actually, since we're not going to be mailing anything to you, you don't have to actually send me the mailing address for that. But just look for my email, and we'll get it out to you. All right. Yep. So, thanks everybody for
thank you.
Hey,
for
real quick,
subbing. I'm sorry. What?
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank everybody for subscribing to our YouTube channel and getting us over that 100 subscriber mark. And our next goal, I know Dave said something about 1,000. I think we should give something away again when we get to 500. But we'll
talk about it.
We'll see about that. But
yes,
definitely when we get to 1,000, we're going to. Well, Dave, you talk about this.
Yeah, well, no, that's the thing. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers to the channel, I talked to Paulie from hashtag PaulieBox. He's a custom modder outside of Pittsburgh. He lives in my area. He's going to do a custom mod for you guys, and he's going to send that out to one lucky person. And his mods are high end. They range anywhere from $200 to $500. He's going to send one out to you guys once we hit 1,000 subs. And hey, if you guys want to do a 500 subs giveaway, I'm all for it. You know, if you guys want to hop into Discord or hop into Facebook, give us some ideas on some of the prizes that you guys want us to give out. You know, we'll take that into consideration, and we'll try to get those for you. That's no problem. I'm all for that. Real quick, though, I really appreciate everybody coming out today. Check out the fall mixes that we got out on the ATF, alltheflavors.com. Me and Folk Art, like I said, we just released some pies. If you want to check those out, we do have a group, All the Flavors discount.
And Tammy.
Flavors for the recipes. We have All the Flavors account. It's our group for DMC mixers. We're going to try to post all our fall recipes on there. But make sure you check us out individually on All the Flavors. Real quick, though, like I said, always make sure you check out Liquid Barn at www.liquidbarn.com. Use code MIXERSCREW to get 15% off your whole order and save. Get free shipping over $50. DMC6 at bullcityvapes.com. You get 6% off your total order. Really great show today, guys. I'm glad you guys.
Really great. Yeah,
we talked some fall recipes. We've got a real good special guest coming on next week. I'm not going to give it away yet, but make sure you guys tune in. If you guys got anything else, that'll be it for the weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
See y'all.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.